There is a substantial risk of loss associated with trading forex, binary options, stocks, or equities, collectively, asset classes. Only risk capital should be used for trading. Trading in any asset classes is not appropriate for everyone. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. No representation is being made that investors will make profits, or will not sustain losses. Before trading in any asset classes, investors should consult with their professional broker, financial advisor, or financial consultant to determine whether trading asset classes is appropriate. Investors who trade in any asset classes should only do so if the capital used for this purpose represents funds that an investor can afford to lose without adversely impacting the investor's lifestyle. No trading strategy or methodology is without risk of loss. No trading strategy is risk-free, and no trading strategy can guarantee profits or freedom from losses. Investors risk losing the cost to execute any transaction, including associated commissions or fees. You should carefully consider whether trading in any asset class is appropriate for you in light of your investment experience and financial resources. Any trading decisions you make are solely your responsibility and at your own risk. None of the statements or materials in the Auvoria Prime chat rooms constitute a solicitation or recommendation to buy or sell.
Today's call, of course, we will be covering a bunch of different topics today. Namely, we will be covering topics as current market state, JV, John Wick signals, data analysis, idea behind Raidar, and of course how Raidar functions. We'll be sharing some live results, and of course the most important question, who is it for? And a thing that a lot of people don't think about or don't discuss ever, because it is a painful topic for many, timing of the market mental trap. And Raidar, of course, had an update recently, so we will also be talking about the latest Raidar version that is live on people's servers now. Of course, let's start with the current market state. Maybe you have noticed that the markets have been going kind of crazy recently, and there are several reasons for that. One of them being the election, US election nervous breakdown, because nobody exactly knows how the election is going to turn out. Is it going to be the Democrats? Is it going to be the Republicans? Is it going to be Trump? Is it going to be Biden? And of course, these things affect the markets, and everybody's paying attention. Everybody's holding on to the edge of their seats to see what will happen. And this causes uncertainty. And this uncertainty causes some people to panic, some people to rethink their investment strategies. Gold is a really good example of what the markets are thinking about the whole thing. I'm just going to share my screen here. So when you look at the gold chart, you can see that gold has been rallying for quite a bit now. It's been going up. I also looked at JP Morgan forecast for gold, and that forecast said that gold will be around 2,300 in the fourth quarter of 2025. If we look at the current gold price, you can see it is already at it's 2,338 at the moment. That's the spot price. So the gold price went up about 1.5 years too early for them. Nobody saw it coming. Of course, some people did saw it coming, but this reflects the mood of the markets. Gold price usually starts going up when there is uncertainty in the market and people want to hedge their positions against inflation, against geopolitical instability. As you know, there's many different conflicts going on. There's Ukraine, there's the fallout from Yemen. There's also there's a bunch of stuff going on in Africa, and of course the news are always talking about Israel right now. Is Iran gonna get involved, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of stuff going on, and of course all these things are affecting the markets. And why I'm talking about all of this is because recently there have been many signals from other traders and trading desks also that the markets are kind of acting wild, going crazy. They're not so predictable, and it's difficult to make a profit in the markets right now with either manual or softwares. Doesn't really matter at this point. And this is also reflected actually in the John Wick data, as I will show you right now. So here, let me see if I can zoom in. Okay, I'm gonna put this in the other screen so it's easier to see what's going on. So you can see here John Wick Signals has been running, soon it's going to be close to 2 years. And when we look at the results of John Wick Signals, how many pips were won and lost in each week, we can see here that the first week actually ended in a loss, 330 pips in minus. I will get back to that quite soon. Next week 170, and then it started going upwards. You can see here we have weeks where there's over 1,000 pips of winning, quite decent stuff going on here. And we look at 2023. Wow, that year began really well, tons of pips coming in. Let's see if there's 1 week ended in a minus, and there's been some weeks that were not very strong, 180 pips. Another week that ended in a minus, and 1 week had 90 pips profit. So it's a constant up and down. Now let's look at this year, how this year actually began. First weeks, not much went on. Fourth, fifth week, very good profits. Sixth, seventh week, decent profits. And Raidar, it's a little less than 2 months now when Raidar became live. And as you can see here, the last weeks, last week was 140 pips. Then we had week number 12, 160 pips, 270 pips, 340 pips. The last month has not been very strong. And this is, as I said, the current state of the market is kind of crazy. So this is to be expected. No system, no manual trader is able to rake in profits, constant profits, high level profits all the time. And this brings us to also timing of the market mental trap. I will get to that just in a second. I will show you some live accounts so you can see what I'm talking about. So even though John Wick Signals has been raking in money over the long run, there are weeks that don't produce profits, or the profits are very low. And when talking about the idea behind Raidar, Raidar is a system that automated John Wick Signals. So with John Wick Signals, you have this thing called AP Go app. You get a notification on your app telling you what pair is it, buy or sell, what's the price, and where to set your TPs and take profits and stop losses. So it was all manual labor, and you had to always constantly track and see what's going on. Basically, it was taking a lot of time, and usually people don't have a lot of free time on their hands. And if you miss even one signal, it can, it can throw a spanner into the gearbox. Yeah, gearbox, that's funny. Meaning that it is actually better to have an automated systems. And since John Wick Signals is an automated system using Raidar. So when you use Raidar, the John Wick signal comes in, then Raidar opens the signal for you. It's automatic, and then it takes over the managing of it using different settings that Raidar has. So it is basically signals that are automated. And why is it so important? Because it saves a lot of time, it saves a lot of headache, and it also makes it easier for beginners to start taking profits from the markets. Now, talking about the results. So we have one account here that has been running since, it's actually stopped updating from 30th of March, but we have about a month of data here. And you can see from this data here that the first month it did produce a little loss, actually 0.46%. So just bear in mind, you can't expect to have profits every single month, every single week, every single day. That is just not how Forex works. It's not possible to do it like this. Another account that I want to show you is, this account has been running slightly longer. Oh, these ads. And it has made a little loss, 3.25% loss. It's been running since 14th of February. And we can see that this month, actually, it has recouped some of the losses. So it had 0.8% profit in February and 0.34% in April so far. It is the first week of April, the beginning of the second week of April. So let's see how the rest of the month goes. But the message is that timing. You can't really time the market for success, because we as retail traders, we never know when the market is going to be trending, when the market is going to be consolidating. We can, just an example, for the past years that I have been trading and I have been in this thing, it has been quite, I would say, regular. I mean, you could predict it. There's months, usually December, January, where the markets are kind of slow and there's not much going on, and then there's a period also during the summer where there's not much going on. But this year started differently. The markets were kind of consolidating and not doing much up to, I would say, even beginning of March. And this is, I mean, for me, this is it's unusual, it's different. So you can't really predict the markets in terms of timing. So to be successful on the Forex markets, doesn't matter if you're manual trading or using an EA meaning automated system expert advisor that takes trades instead of you, time always beats timing. This means that you have to give it enough time for the system to prove itself, because there will always be periods in the markets where any given system or any given strategy will be taking losses or not taking any trades. In short, it will not be satisfying your so-called emotions or expectations. And this is something that people sometimes forget. So let's say if somebody starts with Raidar or any other system, and in the beginning you get a losing month, you get a losing week, maybe even you get a couple of losing months. But when you look at John Wick data for the last 2 years, it has been making profits for most of the time. The win rate is over 80% for John Wick. So the probability of making money with Raidar long run is very high. So it's better to look at the bigger picture. Always look at the bigger picture when you are using an EA, or even if you're doing manual trading, using some kind of a strategy. If it doesn't work right out of the box, don't throw it away right away. Give it time. Just give it time. How Raidar functions, already went over that. Let's talk about live results a little bit more. I showed you 2 accounts. Since I'm also constantly testing all these different systems, I will also be, so both of these accounts actually have been doing quite well, in the sense that looking at how many trades and how many stop losses it got, it only lost this little amount of money. So with Raidar, it actually can start working with very small accounts. Also, it can even start running on accounts with, let's say, 250 balance. So what I did is I actually started an account with Raidar that is very small, just to see how it goes, how it will be running. I hope you won't get shocked. Okay, here it is. So this is my public account. As you can see here, it has a loss of about 23%. Now bear in mind that on this account, the risk settings are 4 times more aggressive compared to the accounts that I just showed you. Considering that, actually this number is not that much. So this account started with, where is it? Okay, 250 actually, yeah. Okay, we throw here, yeah, about 250 was the beginning balance of this account. And as you can see here, this month, it has recouped about 3% of the losses. So I am hopeful that it will get out of this losses that happened in March. In February, it also made profit, and now in April, it's also made a profit so far. So let's see how this account will be doing in the long run. The reason why I wanted to start a short, like a low balance account, is because I wanted to see if it's possible to use Raidar on smaller accounts without blowing it up. So far, I would say it has been a success, even though there is some loss on this account. I'm not really worried about it because it is a very small account, and if it makes the money back, it will be happening quite fast. So in the first week, it has made back over 3% compared to the other accounts that I showed you that had less than 1% for the current month. So who is it for? I would say Raidar is for somebody who wants to try out trading, and it is also for somebody who is already a seasoned trader, because what traders especially like about Raidar is that it runs very close to what a manual trader would be doing. It enters a trade, it sets a stop loss, it sets a take profit. What some people do with Raidar is it takes the trades and then they continue to manage those trades manually by themselves. Of course, this is for people who are very seasoned, and for people who don't have any prior experience, Raidar is a good starting point because of the low balance amount you need to start with Raidar. I would say 500 is enough actually to start working with Raidar, especially if you want to use partials, which I will be talking about very soon. So, latest Raidar update. Before I get into that, the point of Raidar is to provide people with the option to get into trading with low balance and also without any prior experience and very hassle-free. And of course, for people who already have experience with signals, but they have been putting signals in manually. As you know, manual signals takes quite a bit of time. Latest Raidar update was released last weekend, and I'm gonna go into what changed, what was updated. Just a second, I will open it up here. So as a beta tester, I have access to several instances of Raidar that I can use for testing different settings, different account types, different brokers, and so on. And I will be showing you the same account, this little account that I showed you before. I will be showing you this account now. So there's a bunch of settings here. Now these are my own user-based settings. I'm gonna just save these for reference, and I'm gonna load the default settings. You can see, so you can see what's going on there. So as you can see here, the new default settings have been changed, and there's a couple of extra lines now that weren't there before. So everything related to partial close, these lines didn't exist before, and some of the numbers like take profit has been changed. It was on 20 before, and also trading start and trading amount has been changed. The logic behind it is to be able to mimic John Wick signals as closely as possible, these numbers had to be changed. Because as we saw from John Wick signals, I'm gonna, let's see, open it for you again. Just a second. Let's see what the latest TP stats is. So you can see from the latest take profit stats that TP1 is hit 17.9% of the time, TP3 is hit 41.2% of the time, and TP2 is hit 22.2% of the time, and total win rate is 82%. So when we use Raidar settings that aim more for TP3 and TP2, the profits on Raidar should go up. This is the logic behind for changing the default settings. Of course, you are welcome to use your own custom settings if you want to. Everything is customizable to your own needs as you want. Okay, I'm gonna load my settings again. And this is something that you should note for yourself. Whenever you use custom settings or you put on somebody else's settings or whatever, you can save those settings into a file. So you just, when you have put in your settings that you want to use, you click on save, and you can save it only on the desktop. The easiest way to do it is just to use, for example, the account name, or just put Raidar, whatever, so you remember what it is. And then let's say there's an update for Raidar, or for some obscure reason Raidar loses the settings, you can just load them. You can just load them up from the file. That's a really easy way to and really fast way to apply settings for Raidar. Okay, I'll press OK again. One thing that Raidar users have to be aware of is the overnight spread. There have been reports that sometimes Raidar stops the trade out because of the overnight spread. In some instances, I mean, it depends on the broker, it depends on the account type also, but for some pairs the spreads have just kind of jerked up to like 20-25 pips. So be aware of these things, and of course you can try to adjust it with using the slippage allowance here, but I caution you to do that because it could create another problem for you. It could start taking trades at times that are not the best. So there will be we are in discussion with the developers to add some new functions, so it would be eliminating the problem of getting stopped out when there is the day turnover time where the spreads increase a lot for some pairs. Of course, one thing that I didn't talk about was excluded pairs. Now this is something that you could also do if you want to, but before you exclude any pairs from the trading list, I would consider going through the John Wick data. You can even see pips per symbol here, so you can see which pairs are the best performers. And if you want, you can try to customize your settings to exclude pairs that maybe you don't like personally, or maybe you see from the data that it's not worth it. Or you can also do it for the same thing, that when the spreads, for some pairs, the spreads increase a lot during the night, so you can exclude these pairs. Me personally, I don't do such things. I just let it run basically very close to the default settings. I'm not really concerned about the spread thing. And also, if I would exclude some pairs, I would be messing around with the signals, because then some trades will not be taken, and who knows, those trades might be the trades that will be bringing in the most money. So for me, I try to keep the recipe for the cake the same as it is. And one more thing I wanted to talk about here, one really important thing regarding partials that you have to keep in mind when you use partials. Just make sure that your account is big enough compared to the lot size. So let's say if you have, I'm gonna write this out so it's clear. So let's say your account size is $1,000 or euros or whatever account currency you're using, and you start using partials turned on, and your lot size is, just for the sake of this example, to, let's say, 1,000 per 0.01 per every 1,000 of your account size. Now, if you have such a setup, partials will not work for you. Why? Because you have only 1,000. So what it does is it opens 0.0 lots per trade. And to be able to close partials, you have to have at least 0.02 lots, because 0.01 lots is the minimum trade size that you can open. So in this case, what is it doing? What you could do is you could actually adjust your lot size 500. So what it will be doing, it will be opening 0.02 lots per trade. And in this case, you could have partials, okay, yeah, Word. This is what Word does. Okay, this number I didn't put here. Partials set to 50%, let's say at 20 pips profit. So what it will do in this instance, it will close out 0.01 lots when the trade has reached 20 pips of profit. And then if you have trailing turned on, wherever the trailing is set, so let's say, let me show you again. So in my case, trailing has been turned on, and it will start trailing from 50 pips, and it will start trailing with 20 pips. And if trailing is turned off, then what will happen, it will just either close the trade when you hit take profit, when you have set user here, or when you have set auto, then it will set then it will take profit where the signal take profit has been set. Usually it's around 20 pips, but it can also vary. I try to mimic the settings as close as possible to John Wick. So I have it set to take profit 100, but this actually at this point, this 100 doesn't work because I have trailing on. This user input for take profit works only when trailing is turned off. So I'm looking forward to an extra function where there's like TP3 when it's trading, even when it's trailing, it will close the trade at a specific point that I have set. Let's see if there's any questions. Okay, no questions so far. So I guess everything is very clear. All in all, I'm very confident in Raidar, and I know some people have been questioning it, but as I said, this is the mental trap of timing the market. Only time will tell. We will see after half a year or 1 year what the results are going to be with Raidar, what the live results are going to be. I'm really confident that the results are going to be good because the John Wick data suggests they will be good. And also now that the settings have been set to having more, breathing room for trades to maneuver, and it's mimicking more the take profits that John Wick Signals has, I'm very sure that the results will be better. And of course, I'm not expecting it to give me like 20, 30, 50% profit each month. I'm satisfied with 4 or 5% profit also. That's enough for me because in the long run, compound interest will do its work. And one just needs to have patience. Patience is the key. Patience is the key to every kind of investment, whether you're doing Forex, whether you're doing some other things. Patience is always the key. When we talk about time periods for investments, when you look at, for example, real estate investors, they look at periods of 10, 20, 30, 40, even 50 years. When you look at indices, the same thing applies. When you look at different stocks, all these different ways of investments, real investors always look at the long term, the long run. Also, when you look at stocks, just the last year, for example, who remembers? Maybe some people do. Tech stocks, they fell like crazy. I mean, Facebook, Google, some of these big companies lost a big part of their value just basically overnight. And now they have recovered. Now everything is continuing. And if, let's say, somebody would be jerky all the time, then they would have, taken the loss and ran with their money. But people who kept going, they understand their cycles to the markets. And if you look at the long run, things are going up. And that's the same thing with using Forex systems also. As we can see, John Wick Signals has been giving good results for the past 2 years. And I'm quite confident it will continue to do so in the future. Also, of course, as you saw from the data, just gonna show it to you again. There will always be periods where there's low profits or even minus. First week when John Wick started, it had 330 pips loss. I mean, yeah, if somebody had quit then, yeah, too bad. If they had continued by the end of the first year, they would have won about 25,000 pips. And for last year, about 31,000 pips for the whole year. Profit of 31,000 pips. Now it's automated. And I'm really, really glad they did that. Actually, the first talk about that was about over a year ago when we were discussing that it would be nice to have John Wick Signals automated, because I personally don't have a lot of time to sit around watching screens and taking manual trades. So to recap today's call, don't fall for the market timing fallacy. This trap is very dangerous. Always look at the bigger picture and keep your keep your head in the ball game. Do your research, learn about it, learn about different systems, learn about risk management, learn about trader psychology. All these things will also be actually adding value to other areas of your life too. Okay, there's one question. Mats asks if I recommend using demo for Raidar for a month. I would say, as a rule of thumb, with every system, it's a good idea to start with a demo account. Why? The reason is actually very simple. The reason is because with a demo account, you're not risking any live money. So it gives you the opportunity to find out the limits of your psychology, and also it gives you the opportunity for you to find out the limits of the software, so you get a better understanding of what settings work for you, what settings are best for you. Some people might think that, yeah, but I have this monthly fee. Don't worry about it. I mean, if you are too worried about the monthly fee, maybe it's too early for you to do something like this, because to be able to make money with these systems, you also need actually a decent account balance. You can of course always start with 250 or 500 or even 1000, but if you want to make real money, of course, sustainably, you will need larger accounts. So it's always a good idea to first start with demo account, understand how it works, what it is, what are the risks, what each setting does, and then when you feel comfortable, switch it over to a live account. I hope that helped. I hope you got some more clearance regarding that question. Yes, that's it for today's call. If you have any more questions, any more comments, if you're watching this as a recording, of course, put subscribe, put like, wherever is it, YouTube or is it Facebook or whatever, and leave comments. Always leave comments. I want to see how your accounts are doing. Share your MyFX book links, and see you next month. Take care. Bye, guys.